Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and members of the jury. You are summoned here tonight to witness a change in something exciting. It is first day of Christmas. It is the Vobes Show on the 16th of November 2020. I'm the lovely Julia.
And I'm the lovely Richard.
And we are here in front of you, in your living room, on your car, in your boat, in wherever it is that you happen to be going, to entertain you for the next
however long we can stand.
Yes, however long we can cope. Hello to you, lovely Julia.
Hello to you, lovely Richard.
I don't know why they do. Why do they do that? Because clearly, in a studio situation, you've been sat here for ages, twiddling your thumbs, talking about, you know, how the dog got run over by a cat earlier in the day, and how when you took the fish for a walk, it was doing this, and then suddenly the camera goes live, and they always go, "And how are you today?" "Yes, I'm very well, thank you." And it's all the same sort of false nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad I got that off my chest. Much better than I did feel before you asked me. And I'm so gleed.
Linda Kane says, please not Christmas jumpers. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Christmas jumpers are not actually here yet. We're just testing them out.
It's my birthday in November, so I say yes, we can wear
the lovely Julia's birthday is on the 29th of...
Oh, never mind that.
on November. Please send buckets of bubbles and tubs of unicorns.
Tubs of unicorns?
Yes, you can get that from... Have you not been to the unicorn shop? They now sell them in tubs.
You can get tubs of unicorn slime.
Can you?
Yeah. Do you remember the slime stuff?
Yeah, I do. It's the most foul thing I've ever seen. Anyway, lovely Julia. Hark!
The herald angels?
No. Is there people I hear gabbling away in the Vobosphere?
There is, indeed.
I wonder what kind of people there might be out there in the Vobosphere, watching the old Voby One-Eyed Kenobi and the lovely Julie R.
We have a lot of lovely people. We have Sean James Cameron singing Why Are We Waiting?
Yeah, why are we waiting?
Oh, because you got here early, that's why you're waiting.
Oh, yeah, that's why you're waiting. Far too early. Do you got anything else better to do? Chop some trees down or something. Oh, no, shush.
Let's hope not.
No. Anyway, yeah, go on.
We have the lovely Kerry Baldwin.
Hello, Kerry. Is Kerry on her horse?
Who says, because it's not 8 p.m. yet, Sean.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, no, it's not. It's Kate Evans.
It's Kate Evans,
yes. That's all right. I'm getting confused now.
And we have Josephine Suter, the
Hello,
lovely.
Josephine Suter. Now, Josephine Suter, we should say, from Josephine the Butchers. Josephine the Butchers?
From Suiters.
From Suter the Butchers, Sutusa. We are doing a little bit of venison cooking in tonight's show. We spoke about this briefly on the show that I did last, which was at the end of last week. And there is venison being slowly cooked at the moment. More about that later in the show. Who else have we got?
We have the lovely True Tales from the Tombstone.
Oh,
evening, everyone.
Fantastic. Lovely to see you. Thank you for popping by.
We have lovely Gabriel Glastonbury. Glastonbury, Gabriel.
Yes, good for you.
If I can even enunciate
Who
today.
else have we got?
We have the lovely Andrew Norris.
Yes.
The lovely Linda Kane.
Yes, you said that.
The lovely Justine Jones.
Yes, good. Sorry, I said like we could be here all night.
We could.
Can you do it faster?
The lovely
How
Ed
fast
Lowe,
can you-
the lovely Elaine Whitelott, the lovely Robert
Faster.
Brailsford, the lovely Michael White, the lovely Kate Evans, the lovely Tattoos and Tea Dragons. Ooh, that's a new one. We haven't seen that one.
Hello
pop up
to
before.
Tattoos and Tea Dragons.
The
If it's
lovely
your first
Callum
time here,
Davies.
hello.
Hello, the lovely Callum Davies, the lovely Days of Yore, the lovely Marriott Genealogy, the lovely At Home with Mindy, the lovely Andy Sandell, the lovely Ernie Samet, the lovely Rick Gordon Ellison Steele, the lovely
Angie Fenner, Ed Wolf,
Ron Langley, Glyn
David
Horton,
Mills, David
Nigel Sadler,
Cart Corner,
Audrey Forbes Hamilton,
Peter
the Green Man.
the cuddly toy, the coffee
Did you say
maker.
Mike Stevens?
Did they do well? Good
Lord
game,
Riddle.
good game. Anyway, never
Elf
mind all
Wald.
that. If you didn't get mentioned, tough.
Andrew Murphy,
We've got too much.
Connor's
to get-
Dark Corner.
Yeah, they're all here. They're
Anna
all here.
Jones,
Thank you very
Darren
much.
Harold,
It's very
Peter
nice.
Arcoons.
Shut up!
I'm done.
You're done. Oh, you're done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's
Get me
show,
cards.
we are going to be doing a bit of cooking. We've got a couple of videos. We've got an interesting puzzle for you to solve, although the answer is already in it. Nigel Sadler is going to be posing a question for, I was going to say posing nude, but Eric's done another mistypo on the thing. I don't know who Miss Typo is. But yes, Nigel Sadler's got a little question, but he also gives you the answer before you even draw breath. So, but it's very good. And I did actually get it as soon as he gave a clue. I didn't get it at first, but that means it's meaningless to everybody else. So how has your week been? This is Monday, isn't it? I had to think
is.
then. I had to think
It
it's the
is.
beginning of the week. Monday.
All day.
We've been out. Now, this week, I should tell you, we have been, or are doing, and likely to continue doing at the rate that they come in, viewers' walks. Viewers' walks. And on Friday, was it Friday? When did we do the last one? Yesterday, the day before the day we are speaking about. We did a viewers' walk at a Mystery Road. And it was Joe Souter's walk.
Yes, we did.
That's right. And there's been some interesting evidence that have come back since then. Not only did we see an amazing house in which an amazing lady got in touch amazingly and said, would you like to come and
See the remains of the old mill that was there.
So that was really great. So we're going to do that once lockdown is over. Once that's over, we can get out and visit and see people again and, you know, remember what shaking hands was not like, because obviously we still can't do any of that, I dare say. We'll all have our own plastic tea cozies to wear. And so that was that.
Good idea.
We also found out that it was on an old drover's route,
Yes, an old sheep droving.
an old sheep droving route. And there was another thing that we found out about it, but I can't remember what it was. And it's
What, the fact that it was because of the industrial estate that that part of the road got closed down?
oh yeah, that was yeah, exactly. So lots of things come from our walks. Anyway, that was Joe's walk. Tomorrow's video, we've got another walk that somebody else suggested, whose name now temporarily escapes me, but we'll be doing that. And the more suggested walks are coming in thick and fast. So very excited about that, because it's nice in the community that we're building to rinse as much. To try and put something back by doing the walks that people suggest.
Yes.
Anyway, this isn't the Bold Explorer.
No.
This is the Vobes Show.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing, but I just wanted to share that with you. So there. And we are wearing these jumpers.
We are.
We wore them last year,
We did.
but I can tell you,
And the year before that.
and was it the year before that?
Yep. This is...
I don't think I had this is the second year I've had this one.
No, I think last year was the second, wasn't it?
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
We are getting old and
Got it
grey.
in 2018, I
Soon
think.
I'll have that old beard as well. Anyway, what I was going to get on and say was the lovely Mary, very not like a canary, Hammond, who, I don't know who said that she looked like a canary. Eric? Shut it. Mary, the lovely Mary. I had a lovely conversation with Mary. Is Mary out there? I had a lovely conversation with her on the video phone.
Yes.
It was just like, do you remember Thunderbirds? And they could talk to people. And this is the 1960s. They could talk to people on their watches. and I haven't got a watch that does that, but I had a slab of something where a picture comes. That's amazing. It moves about, and their faces on the. I know it's old technology.
High tech, yeah.
High tech. How you doing? Anyway, I had a lovely, and 2 more jumpers have arrived, and in tonight's show, at one point in the show, you will see. If you watch the reading show, by the way, you would already seen one of them. But there's another jumper, and you had spot the jumper in tonight's show. So keep your eyes well and truly peeled.
Ow.
Yeah, easier to do with an acrylic eye. Although once you've peeled it, there's not much left. To be fair, although that's probably true with a real eye as well. Any interesting and fascinating and wonderfully warming and mind-bogglingly superb comments, lovely Julia? Because I can see the screen going up very rapidly.
Yes, Josephine Suda says she'll get on to another one, another route that we may,
Another route,
may or may
yeah,
not
no,
copy.
that's very good.
Sean James Cameron says there's a disused road in London. They built it for the Olympics, then decided they didn't want it. So it's just sat there, doing nothing, going nowhere.
You see, places like that, particularly in London, those sort of roads, I imagine are brilliant for film companies. Because if you've got a road and they put all the amenities in, you could dress it and use it several times over. And with green screen, imagine you could just put some massive great sheets of green screen up. You've got the infrastructure of the road, but you could be in all sorts of different cities across the world. So I imagine that film companies, look for those sort of things because you don't have the problem of pedestrians and other cars.
Quite.
And lollipop ladies coming out, or policemen on point duty. When was the last time you saw a policeman on point duty?
Point duty?
Yeah, you see, Julia doesn't know what point duty used to be.
Is that where they're directing traffic?
In the old films, and they would have these bands. Do you remember these bands? There would be Mike and the Sim Sam Singers. They'd have bands on their arms with like a little zebra thing on it. And they would be saying, they would have these very big, long white gloves, wouldn't they? And they would be standing there going, stop. And you see it in the old Pathé News film footage, and go. And then these old sort of, not quite charabancs, but the old omnibuses and taxis and people who used to afford cars, which were the price of houses back then, chugging along. Good morning, my man. And a man with a red flag walking in front, all that sort of...
In answer to your question...
Yes.
I've never seen someone actually doing that properly. Not in this country. I think in Europe I have. But, the last time I saw a policeman directing traffic was about 3 weeks ago when I left here. And someone had gone into a lamppost near the school road. So they'd blocked off that bit.
And when you say you'd gone into it, they didn't just sort of walk up to the lamppost and go...
No, they'd taken their car off the road and
driven into it.
Thwacked it, yeah. Bent it. The next day I was walking back past there with my eldest from school. Obviously, both of my kids.
Yeah.
but yeah, and I was scooting some of the glass off the pavement.
Gosh.
With my foot. But the point I was trying to say is there was a policeman stood there.
Doing...
He didn't actually point or anything.
He didn't do anything?
He stood there.
Just stood there looking bored.
Just ready to point if I was going, what do I do? Which I didn't.
Yeah, so I don't know whether policemen now, maybe somebody can tell us, are actually trained in point duty.
Probably not many.
No, what's the point? Duty. But, you'd think that'd be part of their basic training because sometimes you do need to get out and stop the traffic. So my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, for the start of the show is, have you ever been in a situation where you've had a situation... have you ever been in a situation where you've had to get out the car and take control and stop the traffic and signal people along? Years ago, I remember driving down to Devon and we were all taken off the main road because of some problem and we were all coming diverted. You know how they divert you. And we were going on these back roads through Devon. And obviously, whatever it was, an articulated lorry had sort of closed the road. So we were coming along these quiet country roads like this. One width road that the police had said, no, you go down there, mate. All right. And we're all coming down there like this. And then all of a sudden, the other way is another bunch of 400 cars coming the other. These are one-way roads, one width roads. and there was nowhere to go, and we all sort of just stopped because they were like going, well, we can't go forward. Nobody had thought this through. Fortunately, where I was, there was an entrance to a field. And I just thought, and we were sitting and people were like going, well, what do we do? What do we do? And in the end, I just get out the car and I was like thinking, well, what? And it was in the summer, so it was all dry and not boggy. I said, what we need to do is filter some cars into this field and let one not go past. So I opened the field up, the gate, it opened up. And this other people got out the car and we just did it. It was, I mean, once somebody started it, then there was this little happy band of people. And it was most enjoyable. I didn't want to give it up. It was like, yeah, right, okay, you lot come in there. And it was about an hour later before I was,
on your way.
On my way. But I got all them in. Right, okay, wait there, wait. Okay, you lot come through. And then they could get round. And I think there was a little island, like on a triangle, these sort of T-junction where there's an island, and so we could actually use that as a bit of a roundabout.
Sean James Cameron referring to that lonely road in
yes,
yes, they use it for filming, and the disused tube lines that are just sitting there as well.
Right.
And Andrew Norris says these days a policeman doing point duty would get run over. Yes.
Yeah. Out of the way! Get out of the way! What are you doing in the road? You stupid man!
Also from Sean, last time I saw a policeman was around 15 years ago. Should have taken a picture.
Yeah. Well, they do exist, They...
Mark's Mark's Beautiful Landscape says, hello, beautifuls. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Mark. Down there. Oopsie.
Just killed my microphone.
Oh, don't kill it. It's a bit limp, isn't it?
It was going droopy then.
Try that.
Hello.
We have a call on the phone. Let's see if the phone still works. Clamp the headphones on. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hello, Vobesy, Julia, and listeners and watchers.
Is it Ed Loud?
Hello, Mr. Loud.
Hello, Ed.
Yeah, it's Ed Loud.
What can we do
Hello.
for you on this cold winter sunny evening?
Well, I thought I'd give you a double dose, really. I was planning on phoning in tonight because I won't be able to phone for quite a while.
Oh, why? What's the matter?
Oh, I've just got to be busy in the evenings.
What, you've got
quite
something else
often-
to watch?
No, sadly not. I quite often have to go away from home at the moment to help out a disabled person in the evenings. So
Right.
because I'm sort of isolated anyway, it works quite well. So they need a couple of hours help in the evenings, and I just go round and then head back home. But yeah, I thought I'll make the most of it while I've got the chance to call.
Yeah, fantastic. So double
But,
dose, you say. Go on then.
Yeah, well, I phoned the other day, didn't I? So I didn't
Oh,
phone
I
for a
see.
while.
Oh, yes,
So,
yes,
yeah,
I
it
see
was
what
a
you
double
mean.
dose. But yeah, directing traffic.
Yes.
Slightly different to what you had in mind. But when I was very, very ickle,
Mm.
and I didn't drive when I was ickle, so I didn't have to get out of my car and stop traffic. But I did have to stop traffic when my mum had a fit in the road.
Oh, my goodness.
That all come back to me, and I managed to stop the traffic, and then.
And
adults
how
come
old
and
were
took
you when
over.
you stopped the traffic when your mum had a fit?
Probably 3.5, maybe 4.
Oh, my
Whoa.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah, my mother was very serious epileptic when I was young, so I was the kid in the class who knew the recovery position and had to check airways and everything.
Isn't that amazing? That at 3 and 4 years old, you can do that, and that you can't get kids to do simple homework and stuff, but you can train them up. No, but I mean, it's a serious thing when it's it's life threatening and your mum is at risk. You know what to do. It's like that.
I think anybody would in that situation. You sort of you get used to it, don't you? So extraordinary times make normal people do extraordinary things.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess that is true. I mean, there was a woman, wasn't there, who was famously she couldn't breathe or something, and a little girl rang up 999. She was 3 or 4.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she rang up and said, "My mum's not breathing," and she got the police, and they rescued her, and her mum was fine, and everything was okay. But what a clever girl. So there you are. So just explain. So you're driving along. I mean, how much you remember, I guess, is interesting as well, because it's etched on your mind,
we were
isn't
just
it?
walking along. And obviously a serious epileptic couldn't drive. We were just walking along. On our way to Woolwich, I think, at the time. So anyone who knows the area, that's a little name drop for location. But, I think we were just going to do the shopping or something like that.
So
and
just
it was-
explain what happens in a fit, because I have no real idea. Is it? Somebody just like loses control, their arms fly about, or do they just collapse on the ground?
Be a million different things. In my mum's case, she would just collapse on the ground, shake, sometimes sort of froth or be sick.
Okay.
The worst part is the head, isn't it? If the head...
Yeah.
If the head bangs.
The head
of
jerk
course.
around a lot. She caused herself a few injuries over the year. To this day, she's got massive friction burn on her leg and her
nasty.
foot, where that was rubbing on a carpet in one particular fit.
You see, things that you don't think about at all, like carpet
I was
burns.
always just told to sort of leave her alone, but just make sure her airway was clean and empty, and that was it. Then
So what happened in this case then, Ed? She collapsed in the road that you had to stop the traffic about?
Like we were crossing the road,
Yeah.
so obviously not at the traffic lights, we weren't on a main road or anything, but just stopped the traffic, and I'd forgotten all about it until you said that.
Oh, well, I hope it's not a bad memory.
It was such a common thing that I'd forgotten about that particular situation when it happened in the road.
So what did you do? I mean, your mum's collapsed, and you've gone, oh right, okay, I know what's happening, because it's a common, and you would just immediately sort of put your arms up to stop the traffic.
Just stop the traffic. There was only like half a dozen cars sort of there at the time. By even after sort of a minute, there was only half a dozen cars.
Did people come rushing over?
Yeah. As I remember it, just. There was a car with, I think, a family in it, and the man and woman, I guess the mum and the dad, got out and just sort of took over from then. Somebody called an ambulance, but really that wasn't necessary. There's nothing they can do. So my mum woke up and got on with her day.
How long did that last then? You say she woke up, but what within minutes?
Yeah, she was back on her feet within like 4 minutes.
Right. And is she conscious during that? You said she wakes... No.
Completely unconscious. She knows what's happened, but... it's she can tell because she's got a thumping headache and iron in her mouth.
You must come to feeling absolutely shattered because you've just done, your body's exerted so much energy during that.
And what?
Yeah, she always described it as a cheap hangover.
Right, great. So what happened?
Sorry to make light of it for anyone,
Well, but it's a way.
Just the way she is herself. She's very.
And it's good that you can, because it's a way that people can understand it without being too scared. And they can appreciate it. I mean, I think sometimes people don't understand that actually when you make light of... I mean, you're not making light of it, but you're turning it round so that it's not depressing.
Yeah, exactly. And she's a bit like that with her eyesight as well, and I'm sure you are, Richard.
Well, exactly.
She'll get a blind stick out and be like, oh, yeah, it's just me aerial, so I can listen to the Archers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just her way of dealing with it.
And you need to do that. You need to have a sense of humour. So here's a question. I mean, I don't know anything about this, so this is why I keep asking lots of questions, because I find it very interesting, especially as my son, Billy, he had a brain hemorrhage and nearly died, and then he's still on medication in case he has a fit. And so it's very scary. He's never had he's had one collapse, and that is it. But that was quite soon after his operation, I think, or something. Anyway.
I must say, Billy was quite an inspiration for my mum, because she had a brain hemorrhage as well. And this was more recently, about 10 years ago, and she's now paralysed down one side.
Oh, God.
And that's what's making her go blind as well. So
she's I'm so sorry.
Had a tough old life, my mum, but she sees things like this and sort of, like you with your eye and the story about that, she really connected with that, and it gives her a lot of hope. So I know she would want me to thank you for sharing that.
Well, there's a video coming out. I've recorded it. I have just not yet released it, where I talk about the story of my eye, and I take out the prosthetic eye and show everybody. I haven't put it out because I've been a bit nervous about putting it out in case people get upset. I know Linda Kane is a bit squeamish. It does give you warning, and it does say I will be removing my eye in this video. But people very often, well, not so much often now,
but people don't remove the wrong one. That could be troublesome.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a bit awkward. But people often ask me, about the eye thing, and I thought, well, I'll make a video about it, and so I have. It's a very simple video. I didn't want to go into lots of special effects and things. Anyway, but the question I wanted to ask you about your mum and fits is, did you know what caused it? What started it off?
No. I actually think there might just be something in the family, and it's run down the generations. I had epilepsy myself, but grew out of it. So
but is it? It's not a
that was
brain.
lucky.
Is a brain misfunction, or is it a swelling on the brain, or what? What is what?
A doctor years ago described it as having too much energy in the brain, and
Right.
it has to come out somehow.
Oh, I see.
A bit like an earthquake. You've got two tectonic plates pushing against each other, and
Gosh.
the earthquake is the release of that energy. But yeah, I was really glad to see the show was on tonight as well, I must say. So it was. I was having a bit of a sort of depressing day early in the day, but then I've got myself a new job, so that sort of took my mind off it.
Oh,
and
well
then
done.
the show came on, so absolute lifesaver, the show being on today. I was really glad to see it starting.
Oh, well, I'm so pleased, and thank you so much for sharing that. That's so interesting. You know, the show, as you know, is 1 minute it's completely nonsense and silly, and then it can take on very serious stuff, and we can talk, you know, sensibly about it, and then we can go back to a bit
Yeah.
of light-hearted
You
nonsense.
need a bit of the silliness, don't you? But yeah, it's a nice balance anyway.
Yeah, can I just say, Linda Kane, I have asked Richard if he would email you personally before releasing said video so that you can not watch it.
Oh, Linda, yeah, she's a bit squeamish about the eyes, and yeah, Julia did say that, and I will email you, Linda, and say tomorrow's video is the eye video, so don't
So
watch
don't
it.
watch it.
So it's
When it happens.
When it happens, yeah, I've kept it as it's an emergency video now because it's my one. Just if I, for example, break a leg and can't get out tomorrow, or Julia just locks me in the van and I can't get out, there is one that's lined up ready to go. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 of them lined up ready to go, but recently it has been hand to mouth. It's like today we went out filming and it will be out tomorrow, and it's been like that for weeks, it seems. Anyway,
I've been far more unorganised. I've got about 5 videos worth of footage that I want to send in to you, but my brother's hogging his darn laptop, which is a cheek. So by the time I get round to it, I'll probably have a computer of my own now. I'm no longer on the unemployable list.
Ah, good for you. Good for you.
Anyway, I better go and let someone else call or watch a video.
It's lovely to hear from you, Ed, and so proud that you've got a job, and thank you for sharing those moments. It's fascinating to hear it, and I think other people appreciate that sort of thing too.
Brilliant. Well, take care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, all
Good
the
to hear
best,
from you
Ed.
again. Bye.
Bye. So there we go, Ed Loud there with an amazing story, unexpected, and that's what you get on this show. I'll tell you something else that's unexpected and you don't always get on this show, and that's Connor's Dark Corner. But I think we're coming to that in a minute. Let's take this call and see what's what. Hello.
Hello, is this me?
It's you, yes. Whoever you are, it's you.
Is this Robert Denby?
No, this is Murky calling from the United States of America, Genesee, Idaho, United States.
Oh,
Wow.
Murky.
Yeah.
How are
It's pretty
you?
exciting. I'm doing really well. I'm enjoying the program. You guys got really good vibes going on. Basically, I'm doing the cold open for the Not Even a show over here in America. It's a wonderful little segment everybody loves, and basically comes on before the real thing starts. And Kyle's done it for a while, and Stoop. But I'm the main man. I'm 3 for 3 to start. And basically, I just need you guys to say, "Let's start the show," and then we can go 4 for 4. It's a turkey.
Okay, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, but
All we need to say is let's start the show.
1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Let's start the show.
Oh, you guys are fantastic, and you're doing a great service. That last caller who called in seems to love you, and I see why, because you guys are lovely, and that's 4 for 4, and they're talking about a perfect season, and they're going to love you for it. Thank you so much.
That's quite all right. It's been very nice talking to you, and good luck with your show. And he's gone. There we go. I have no idea what that was about, but there you are. That's the crazy world of the internet for you, and we're prepared for anything.
Oh no, Jeff Kellison. He says, I still can't believe, Richard, you haven't broken a bone. I tripped on Friday and broke my toe.
Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff! No, that's terrible.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, I've never broken a bone.
Thank goodness it was just a toe and not an ankle.
And
or
how is your
anything else.
finger?
My finger? Well, that one.
Yeah.
It's all twisted
It's
and
twisted and
mangled
misshapen now. Let's have a quick.
Okay.
We'll have a big close up of the lovely
the broken
Julia's.
finger.
Yeah, here it
But
is.
there's a straight one and there's the twisted.
Wait, which one's the straight one?
This one. Well,
that one looks more bent than the twisted one.
No, but that's as it was made.
Oh, I see.
But that one,
yeah.
I can like force it into the right. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, broken digits.
So sorry, Jeff, to hear that. Has anybody else? We'll move the conversation on to broken bones and things that have, silly ways of breaking bones. What was the story with yours?
Well, I was 3 months pregnant, and I was hurrying off to school to pick up my eldest and my bump buddy's eldest. So I was round my friend Con's house. She was also pregnant, 6 weeks ahead. Oh,
and what happened?
I decided to ride the scooter that I was taking for my friend's son, and not realising how long it had been since I'd last ridden that particular scooter, and not realising it was broken, and I went down like that. And yeah.
Hello, caller. Just bear with us 1 second. Julie's just finishing a story, and you fell over the scooter you were riding.
Yeah. I heard and felt the crunch as my finger twisted. And
did it hurt?
Crunked. Oh, yes. Oh. I instantly knew that something had gone wrong. I nearly passed out, but...
Oh, golly. Hello, caller. Who's calling the Vobes Show?
It's Sean from London, originally from Wales.
Hey.
Hello, Sean from London, originally from Wales. I'm glad you get that in, because we would never know from your accent. We would think, he's a Kiwi.
You've just reminded me of my cousin. He was on his bike.
Oh, yeah.
And he was always getting into scrapes. And the next thing, there's a scream, and we look, and the handlebar's gone through his cheek.
Oh, my God! The handlebars had gone through his cheek.
It had gone through, I think it was the left cheek. It had just gone through it.
And left a great big hole.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's just made the whole world watching this go, ah! This is a happy show, ladies and gentlemen. A happy show.
You've reminded me of two stories.
Oh, God, here we go.
Oh, no.
I'm going to get a bucket to throw up in. Hang on.
Sunday night was the night that my mother used to collect all the milk bottles to put them out on the step for the Monday.
Yeah, for the milkman.
Yeah. And this one night, she decided to do it an hour early. And I run into the house and run straight through the milk bottles.
Oh, no.
Hence why I've got a scar still on my foot.
So you tripped? You just smashed into them? They broke? They shattered? What?
My foot just went through the middle of them, and they all shattered into bits.
Oh, and what happened? Did you have to go to hospital? Have stitches?
And she just shouted, "Why did you do that?"
Why did you do that? Why did you put them out an hour early, Mum? Look at me. I got blood seeping all over the stove.
I wanted to talk to you about stopping traffic.
Oh, yes, do. Stop the traffic, mate.
Because when I was about 12 years old,
yes.
I was going to go into the undertaking business.
When you were 12, what, you wanted to be an undertaker?
Well, when I was 16, I was always going to go and have an apprenticeship. But when I was 12, I had a job where you had to walk in front of the hearse.
Oh.
So I would walk from the house of the dead in order to the first church or the chapel.
Yes.
And then once you got there, you then got in the car, and then it went down to the funeral. But you'd always walk to the first church or chapel. So I don't know if that's a Welsh thing or whether...
No, I've not heard that before. So what did you do in terms of stopping traffic?
Well, everybody used to stop because the hearse used to come down into the middle of the street.
Ah, I see. These were the days when, of course, a hearse and a dead body in the back was respected. Somebody had died and everybody slowed down. Not now. It's like, oh, bloody thing. Let's see if I can get past it. Vroom. Which well, I have to say, I have done.
If I see a hearse now,
yes.
I don't even know who's in it. I stop and I wait for it to pass.
Yes, I can understand. I had a race with a hearse. Not a race, really. But there was a hearse. It's obviously, a very busy business. And they were in somewhere like Eastbourne. And they were coming back on the A27. There's only certain bits on the A27 where you can really put certainly that side of Brighton, where you can put your foot down and go fast. And this hearse clearly had another job to go to. It was empty. so there was nothing in it. And he was hurtling along, and I thought it was so amusing that I kept up with him. We're going like 80 miles an hour. We're going the legal speed limit on the motorway, and we're sort of like, I'm vying with him. Because I just found it hilarious to see how fast this guy was going to go. In the end, I just didn't let him go because I just thought this is a bit dangerous, really. He's going to kill people.
When I wrote a book back in 2001 about the social history of South Wales, and I interviewed this guy, and he told me a story about how he was in the pub, and he was one of the last customers, and he sort of thought, right, well, the last tram has gone, so how am I going to get home? Well, the local undertaker was having a drink there, so he said, well, I'll take you home, but you need to jump in the back of the car. So he got in the back, and when they came to the next pub, the traffic lights were on, and people came out, and apparently he got up in the back of the hearse, and the men said they came out of the pub drunk as farts, but they were sober within seconds.
It's a dead man sitting up in the hearse. Yeah, brilliant.
But when I used to work for the undertaker, we had many a story where the widow said, I couldn't stand him, give him the cheapest coffin you've got. And then as the coffin was going out of the house, the bottom decided to give way.
And the body fell through.
So I was going to be an apprentice. And Gedwin, the undertaker, said to me, come down Thursday and we'll sign all the forms.
What was his name?
Gedwin.
Gedwin.
Gedwin Llewellyn.
Llewellyn. Gedwin Llewellyn.
Come down Thursday now, boy, and we'll sign the forms and you'll be an undertaker. Well, he died on the Wednesday. So that career didn't go.
Gedwin, you're taking over.
Gedwin Llewellyn.
Llewellyn. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for those stories, Sean.
I think it's time we had a bit of a video now.
Yes, we've got Connor's Dark Corner. Thank you so much, Sean.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye. Oh, what a story. There we go. Never mind the allotment channel. We should do the undertaking channel. You watch a woman who does a bit of death stuff, don't you?
Yes, I do. Ask a Mortician.
Ask a Mortician.
Yeah, love her.
Right, we're going to have a look at Connor's Dark Corner because, as I said before, something that's not normally expected is this. Where is it? Connor's Dark Corner. So, yes, that Connor, see, up there he goes. He doesn't need a coffin.
No, that made I laugh, that did.
That made you laugh.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Connor. That was great. A little bit of movie magic.
Yeah. And if anyone has got any intrigue into the life of someone who suffers from Tourette's, do take a look at Connor's channel, Connor's Dark Corner. I have to admit, yes, it's comical at times, but what I find fascinating is just your inner strength and how you deal with it. I've actually, since watching yours, Connor, I've watched another girl, a young lass. I think she's about 22, and oh my God, it's just remarkable how people deal with this. Can you imagine trying to get through a day with just random movements coming out of your body that you can't control?
Really. I mean, to be fair, I'm ignorant when it comes to Tourette's because the only one I've seen is years and years ago on the Big Brother thing. They had a bloke in the house, didn't he?
Oh yes, I can't remember his name.
And
now,
I didn't watch. I think
most he was the first I heard about or knew much about as well.
But I can't remember whoever I was with at the time or used to see all my kids would watch. I can't remember how it because it's not a program I would naturally. It's not a program I would watch. No, it's all big wrong. But I did catch some of it inadvertently, and that's really all I got to see of what
Pete,
Tourette's is.
That's what his name was, Pete.
Pete, and
Yeah.
with the
Thanks,
plastic
Sean.
feet.
Anyway,
So I don't
keep
know.
it up, Connor.
So what is Tourette's? Tourette's is what people swear. That's how I always saw it. But it's,
Often swear words come out, but it's there's movements and certain sounds that they'll make. If you don't mind, Connor, one of Connor's is a point like this, and I didn't realise when he sent one of his videos in about a month, month and a half ago, something like that, and he was following in your footsteps, and he was doing a follow-up video from somewhere that Richard had been, and he does this.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
On the I remember on the Folly, the Slindon Folly.
Now, I thought that was highly amusing. But,
So now tell me, when you've got Tourette's, are you aware you're doing it?
yes,
Do you
they're
do
aware
it?
they're doing it, but they can't.
It's
stop it.
involuntary.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
is
sometimes
it-
it can get more frequent and far.
Do you get frustrated by it that you'd like to? Can you stop it if you wanted to? Or no, it's involuntary.
they can't stop it. And
So-
yes, I can imagine it get very frustrating. You imagine you're trying to cook. And,
Yes.
And you're not you're not allowed to touch a knife. You
Yeah.
have to have someone else do that because you could end up stabbing yourself. With,
Yes. No. But
you know.
so is it in a way the sort of the reverse of a stutter? In as much as somebody who's got a stutter is trying to say something, but they can't get it out, and it's almost involuntary.
Kind of yes, but no, because with the stutter you can.
Teach yourself.
Yes,
to,
exactly.
To do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
they're
it's
called tics, as
tics.
Judith has rightly
right.
pointed out.
Tics.
Yeah. I hope you
Gosh.
don't mind me talking about that, Connor.
Yeah, no, but we certainly admire your videos. So you're a star in our eyes, and thank you for that. That was
That was
great.
wonderful.
So there we are. You see, we do have a special community here. People often say that we've got a community, and it is a community of just very interesting and very different people with different points of view. And the thing is, and I often say this in my Naked Englishman podcast that I do for my patrons, is it's okay to have a different point of view or not to understand, because we're not all the same. And I think that's so important. But we can all be friends. But it doesn't. Some people can't cope if you don't share the same thoughts. And sometimes I can put things over very forcefully. I do know that because I'm quite black and white with my way of looking.
Oftentimes I struggle with the way you've worded something.
Yeah, and then I have to say, well, that wasn't meant. And that's text. I've always had trouble with text. People had trouble with text where you say something or you reply to something and they say, oh, you took offence at that then. You go, no, that was a bit of dry humour. And they go, well, you need to put a smiley face to show it's dry. And you say, well, I thought it was so blatantly obvious it was dry. I mean, I wouldn't say that ordinarily, would I? It's like, well, I thought you would. So
Yeah, it's very misleading
absolutely.
in text like that.
So anyway, so that was it. Right, I'm going to show you one more video. Hang on, if I can get out of that. One more. How do I get out of it? Like this?
One more, how do I get out of it?
Yeah.
I'll just do jazz hands until you get out of
Yeah,
it.
thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to... With Joe Suter, we went to the butcher's the other day and had a good look round. And next week is Venison Week. And I think it's a national thing. I think butchers up and down the countryside, like we did with the Sausage Week, it's a national thing. And people want you to... Butchers and stuff are going to be selling venison or promoting it. I've never tried venison.
Me neither. May.
And I'm slightly nervous about venison. And the reason I'm nervous about it is because I sort of associate it... I know this is going to sound weird. For me, I associate it with roadkill.
Yeah.
Because often, and we've seen it when we've been driving out in the countryside to do our walks, we've seen, well, badgers and foxes and, rabbits and
Just
things.
the other day saw half a deer.
And then we've seen deers, and we've been on a walk once, actually near the Lord's Peace it was, what we did,
Yeah.
up near Duncton Way, and we saw this deer that looked...
I think it had been hit by a car and had, was able to stagger off and try and get somewhere safe, but just ended up conking down, in among some brambles or something.
Yeah, so you often see those sort of animals having been hit, but you rarely, and I've never seen a cow just lying on the side of a road
No.
dead in a field. Now, I've seen sheep and we've seen lambs, haven't we? When we were in Glastonbury, we saw a dead lamb.
Yeah.
But it was freshly dead. I mean, it could only have been dead for a few hours. And it's
It was
not,
still a bit warm, I have to say.
yes, and not sort of gutted with stuff hanging out. So when the venison was presented to us the other day, incredibly generous by Leon, who works at Suitors, I was incredibly nervous because I don't know why, but I have a slight nervousness, whereas it looks like beef, and I don't know whether it tastes like beef.
It doesn't smell like beef.
No. Anyway, Leon said, chuck it in a casserole pot with a load of veg and cook it up and, try it on the show. So I want to take you into the kitchen before we do that. He presses the button and nothing happens. Why is that? I don't understand why that happens. I have to go
Spirit
through
fingers.
weird sequence. Welcome to the Vobes kitchen. Here, slightly nervous, apprehensive, because I've never cooked venison before. In fact, I've never ate it before. So we're going to make a casserole, and we have our casserole dish here all ready. Quite large and beautiful. In this pot here, I have our meat, which is the venison, given to us by the lovely Suitors the butcher from Pulborough, and it's been sitting for 24 hours in red wine. Well, actually, to be honest with you, didn't have any red wine handy, but I had some old mulled wine, so we shoved it in there. I think it'll be all right. So that's in there. We've got some cut vegetables, we've got onions, we've got leeks and courgettes, we've got some potatoes, parsnip and some carrots. So all of these things are going to go into the pot here, and we are going to then put all of this into the essie, and when it's done, hopefully it will be tasty. So that's what I'm hoping. So I'm going to shove all of these in here. On top of this, I'm going to be putting in a couple of OXO cubes, beef OXO cubes, because that's all I've got. Funnily enough, I don't have any venison ones, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm going to shove all the meat in there. I certainly don't want to get any of the red wine on my lovely new jumper, which I hope you like. Thank you to Mary Hammond, who made this. And I'm going to mix all that up with a big wooden spoon, bung in the extra salt and pepper and bits and pieces, and then leave it on a medium heat in the essie for a few hours to really get going, and hopefully it'll be ready on the show. So as simple as that. That was earlier today. It's been sitting in the essie, and just before the show I just removed it from the essie so it's not piping hot. And it's just sitting on the top of the essie, staying warm. The essie, for those that don't know what an essie is a wood-burning cooker, which is an inheritance thing that I was very lucky to get, and is in my kitchen. So 109 viewers, which is fantastic. Thank you very much. By the way, do give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. It really does help. Very kind of you. It just helps. I don't know how it helps really, but it's one of those things that people say, isn't it? Give us a thumbs up, whatever. So a bit later on in the show, we will get the venison out the crock pot, bring it in here and try it, but not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Nigel Sadler says, gas mark, 2 logs.
Gas mark, 2 logs, exactly. So, and Nigel Sadler, we've got a thing from Nigel coming up shortly as well. Any interesting comments over the last hour and a half? Lovely,
yes,
Julia.
People are talking about how we don't see many hedgehogs now. Green jumper, green jumper.
Did people spot the jumper by any strange quirk?
Yes. Clive Waterfall says, quite a healthy meat, venison, isn't it? I should imagine so.
Yes, I don't really know anything about it other than presumably, and it was we got it on Friday actually, and it was killed the day before, and so now we've also got, and in the next show that we do, or I do on Wednesday's show, I'll be trying some venison sausages. But I haven't done those in the same show because this isn't what over venisonise the show.
Overkill.
Overkill. Very
Badum
good. Badum
tish.
tish. Did you just badum tish?
Myself, yes.
Considering there are so many deer in Britain, says Nigel Sadler, they are a nuisance and have to be culled. It is rarely on the menu and is expensive. I gather we mostly export it. Is that true? Is it because people just don't know what it tastes like, never tried it before, or ignorant?
Yeah, it's just not one that the general public grow up thinking about actually eating, you know.
It's not farmed, is it? In the same way that cows are farmed for meat. I mean, there are small...
No, I don't think it is, you know. I was
We
thinking that
stopped
we
at a
don't
place,
feed
didn't
them
we?
grain or anything, and that's probably why they're healthier, because they're eating, you know, their natural...
Yes, it's probably much nicer. I mean, we when we came back from Wales, and I'd interviewed what's his name from Wales with the cows. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. It's very ignorant of me. He probably can't remember my name, to be fair. When I came back from there, we came back, didn't we? And we stopped at a little ranch, and there were deer in there, and they were selling venison, and it's all deer called venison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's called venison.
It's not from Venice, is it?
Well, no,
because Venice
obviously.
can't swim.
Oh, what's the
deer can't
Latin name for deer? I
Yeah.
wonder.
Imagine that, Venice.
I've wondered it often, but never actually put my brain to it or asked Tinternet. No, it's not very healthy for the deer. I agree with you there, Mike.
Give me cornetto.
Josephine Suter says,
Give it to me.
yes, it's very healthy. It was killed on Thursday morning and brought in on Thursday afternoon. I have to admit, I feel a little bit queasy.
I get ice cream from it. I'm just thinking,
When-
there you are in Venice on your gondola, and a piece of venison. I mean, a deer comes by, swims by. Must be their natural habitat, surely. Venison. Never mind.
Anyway,
I'll get my coat.
yeah, better had to do that. Deer farm in the New Forest, apparently, says Deborah Martin.
Ah, deer farm. Yeah. I mean, of course, venison's going to be expensive because it's deer. Yeah, everyone a gem.
That's not even getting a badum tish.
Oh, is it not?
No,
Getting a bum
no,
tish?
it's not. Michael White says, we used to eat a lot of horse without knowing. Yeah, same here in the UK. Findus, blinking,
Magpies.
was it lasagna?
Findus lasagna.
Yeah, I used to eat that.
And is that what had horse
Yeah.
in it? Instead of...
The annoying thing is, one of my
fish.
friends... What?
Well, I thought
instead of
Findus
beef.
did... Oh, I thought Findus did fish.
No, it was a beef lasagna.
Oh, beef lasagna.
Beef lasagna, except they had subtly removed the beef from the
Yes.
title.
Can you get cod lasagna?
I've never heard of anybody doing it, but I think you would call that a fish pie.
Fish pie, there we are. Fish lasagna. Lovely.
John Berger says venison is delish. We
Is
have
it?
a huge deer population in Pennsylvania. The first day of deer season is the biggest hunting day of the year.
Wow. Gosh.
Jeff
okay.
Kellison says, if you go where they are butchering deer again, tell them you want backstraps. That is the tastiest part of the deer.
Joe, were they back straps? Be interested to
I
know.
wonder if it's got a different name for the same part in the UK.
Venison
Maybe.
burgers. It's interesting you say venison burgers. The next time we go to the Suitors, which we are very enjoying going to the Suitors Butchers in Pulborough, I have to say, because not only is it very friendly service in there, but the food is genuinely great. And so, you know, I shouldn't fear these venison. But pies are coming up. They do these amazing pies. They look amazing. We're going to taste them on the show. Actually, you had one. You had a little round pie.
Yes, I had a little chicken and
Was it
ham.
like?
It was lovely. It was absolutely divine, actually.
There you go. We're going to get some of those. And also burgers. Now, I don't like burgers generally from, you know, the big American chain stores that have invaded the UK, or even the greasy, nasty things. But every now and again you get a good one. But I like my beef very well cooked. And when you get a decent burger, I notice even then they're pink in the middle. I can't bear that, personally.
Glastonbury Gabriel says, so what is the problem eating horse? You're about to eat deer. Yes, that's fair enough, Gabriel, but I didn't choose to eat horse. I didn't have that choice. That was taken from me.
Yes, and it was also fraud, wasn't it? Because
Yes,
it was
exactly. It
beef
was-
lasagna, but it's got horse, and you don't expect to have horse in lasagna.
No.
So
You know,
I mean, if
it's
you
one thing to choose to eat a meat, you know.
Yes,
But
I don't eat fish because I don't like it.
to be deceived is another thing.
Yes, if they put fish in a beef lasagna, a cod lasagna, as we were saying, I would find that because a bit horrible.
Paul Cockerill says, seafood lasagna. Findus made those.
Seafood.
The mind
there we are.
boggles.
There you go.
Finders! Wait, I've got another one I need to get through. Where is
Yeah.
it? Where is it? Linda Kane. The reason behind calling deer meat venison is slightly more complicated, but still has to do with the Norman invasion. Deer in French is cerf, which doesn't sound much like venison. According to Yahoo, the word venison derives from the Latin word venor. See, I thought that might be where it comes from, meaning to hunt or pursue.
What did you say it was called? Surf?
Yeah, CERF.
So, I mean, that you go back in history, you had lords of the manor, didn't you? And you had serfs. Did they eat them then?
No. Nigel Sadler says deer equals Anglo-Saxon, venison equals Norman French. Now, the interesting thing about the word deer, because I'm a bit of an etymologist, not an etymologist, I am interested in etymology,
Yes.
so the history of words and the evolution of words. The word deer relates to the word fee and also cow, in the sense that all of, fee, cost, money,
How
it's
much
all
something
about,
is.
yeah, exactly, value, basically.
Yes.
Currency.
Currency.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's how it all connects together.
Well, so, yes, but how does that relate to the animal?
Well, eventually the word evolved into
Ah, I see.
deer.
Right, well, okay, that's all very good. What an educational show, says Tattoos and Tea Dragons. You didn't expect that when you came along today. I want to find out what a tea dragon is. That sounds brilliant. And also, has anybody had a tattoo? But we might do that for another show, so come back on that one. It's time for a quiz. A quiz with an answer at the end, but see if you can guess what it is before you're ready. And in the meantime, whilst you're watching that, I'm going to shoot into the kitchen and bring out the venison, or the deer, or the cod, or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, anyway.
Whoever knows. So we nip over to Tonbridge Wells, or Tunbridge, but not Tunbridge Wells. We nip over to Tonbridge, or Tunbridge, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Check the etymology with the etymology queen. And we have something for you to guess. What is it?
Hello Vobesters. What I want you to try and do this evening is try and identify what this strange thing is. Now, I'd never seen one before until I saw this, but I worked it out fairly quickly, largely because there's a label which I've covered up on the other side that gives you instructions on using it that gave it away. As you can see, it's about 2 inches by 2.5 inches, grey plastic with an orange handle, and on the back there's a spigot and another piece that moves. You can turn the handle in either direction, but it's arrowed and suggested that it goes this way, and when you turn it, this little bit goes round, and there's a similarly sized but non-moving part there, and then we've got this little lever bit. Now, can you guess what it is? There's a bit of a clue. Most of us would have used this to do the same job. A pencil, or indeed an ordinary biro would have done, some form of pen. It's about the same size as that little orange spigot, and also happens to be hexagonal. So does that give you any clues? Well, the thing it's designed to work with is this, the humble cassette tape, because it's a cassette tape winder. The idea is that you put that in there, that there. You can put this down to hold the tape on, so the whole thing is now fitted together, and then you can turn the handle back in the day to wind up and take up the slack on a cassette. There. And if you don't know what a cassette is, I'll leave Richard to explain. Bye.
Wow.
Blooming cheek, hey? Who doesn't know what a cassette is? It's
Surprisingly, a lot of people.
yes. Well, a cassette is something that you use on a caravan or a mobile home or a canal boat, and you take it out when you've done all your business, and you chuck it down the. Oh, that's a cassette toilet. Sorry, that's a different thing. A cassette, of course, is a roll of tape that's in a cassette, and it records audio or plays back audio, depending on.
I like Days of Yours answer. It's a thermonuclear device or a cassette winder.
Yeah, it's either or. I mean, they're funny because they could be used for both. Here on the table in front of us is a lovely Pro Cook Dutch oven, crock pot, whatever you want to call it, and it's not too hot now. It's cooled down, and I'm going to lift the lid. There we are. Getting a bit nervous now. Oh, sorry.
Do you know that strange thing?
What's that?
Obviously, apart from the mulled wine flavour I can smell in there, it smells surprisingly like wildebeest.
Now, I've never had wildebeest. I wouldn't even know a wildebeest if I met one in the street.
That was a gamey kind of beef, slightly more chewy.
This doesn't look particularly appetising. Oh, I thought. Oh, there was a bit of colour then.
It does look and smell like very similarly to the wildebeest. As crazy as that sounds. Do you need a hand?
No, I just wanted to show what it looked like, but it didn't look terribly appetising on video on a webcam. It looks a bit more appetising on there. There's a lot of meat in there. They were very, very generous with their meat. So what I'm going to do is put them into some bowls with this little what you call it?
Ladle,
which clearly
not a jelly spoon.
It has a mind of its own. Ow!
Stop donking it on your head. You're going to dink that in there.
Stop it. I've got a headache now. So we're going to try this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you dish out a lump of stuff. Fortunately, we're coming close to the end of the show, so we can enjoy this after the show. You see, that was rather than sit here and gobble it in the middle of the show.
I just feel weird eating in front of the camera.
Yeah, I'm only going to do a tiny lump because I'm going to eat mine afterwards. And also, I'm very I don't know why I'm nervous. Why would I be nervous about this?
Is it cooked all the way through, says Ramabutu? It blinking should be after being in the oven since, 5 p.m?
Yeah, it's been in there since 5. Admittedly,
It's now 9.
Yeah, the first hour was the Essie warming itself up, but I think it's pretty much cooked. Shall I move this out the way?
Yeah.
And we'll give it a go. But a big thank you to the suitors of Pulborough for making this possible.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for my very first taste of venison.
And you will witness it.
A little bit trepidatious. How about you?
Yeah, I'm very nervous about it. Which is one reason I've got my Christmas jumper on.
Well, that's why I decided to wear mine. Because I thought, we're going to eat venison, which for some reason feels to me like
there is a knife and fork, actually, as well. I'm going to use a knife and fork.
And then you use mulled wine in it as well, which you said.
Yeah,
I thought that feels Christmassy. It's November.
So I've just chopped it, and look, you chop it up here. I don't know if that won't focus on it, but... You've already gone in for the kill, have you?
No, it was already dead. But yes, I have had a taste. It doesn't smell. It doesn't taste like it smells. It's not Rudolph. Rudolph was a reindeer, a different kind of deer, but close enough.
Well, actually, do you know, I was expecting something much nastier.
You were expecting it to taste horrible.
I was expecting it to taste absolutely foul. And see, the thing with me is I associate this not only with the roadkill stuff, but also with those fat country people who go shooting things. And I don't mean to be rude about them, in the tweed, and I like a bit of tweed and stuff, but the ruddy-faced ones that sort of drink lots of port and can barely move about. From the sort of, I don't know, the 1920s. One of those sort of types.
Josephine seems to be amused. She says this is hilarious.
Why hilarious, Josephine?
It's very tender.
So hopefully Josephine will now give us a call on 0793 4746 790 and just give us a bit more background about venison, the types of cuts of meat that you can get, different recipes that you can do with it, and how it's farmed or how it comes to the butcher. Be interested in all of that. and a little bit about Venison Week. So hopefully you've had plenty of red wine in the meantime. So yeah, it's not bad actually. I mean, I'm very, very surprised.
I think that's because you were so anxious about it.
I was anxious.
You really worked yourself up about it.
I did, I know. Why?
I don't know. But Tattoos and Tea Dragons says, my mother-in-law, Anis, from Cumbria, makes a mean venison stew, as in Rick M and Anis.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Mean venison stew.
Linda Kane says, guess it's not gamey, too recently deceased. Yeah, possibly.
I don't know what gamey tastes like or whatever it is.
I don't know how to
It's a bit snakes and laddery, if that helps. But look, I'm munching away.
He is. I'm just trying to make sense of some of these.
Any minute now, the lovely Josephine Suter is going to give us a call on 0793 4746 790.
Actually, I think she intends Leon to give us a ring.
Oh, is it? Leon is going to give us a ring.
I think
believe
so.
Leon is going to give us a ring. Are you watching out there, Leon?
Come on, give us a buzz.
Very tasty. I have to say. Also, their vegetables are very nice. What do you think about the potatoes? Because the potatoes, I've noticed, are very creamy.
They are quite.
The potatoes are the best, I have to say, even better than the venison. The potatoes that they had, and I had them in my stew the other day, they're very creamy potatoes. I don't know what they do to them.
Nigel Sadler says the longer the meat is hung, the deeper the flavour. I suppose that's why they call it maturing, because the flavour matures. It's all a bit gamey, Richard, says Glastonbury Gabriel. There's a play on bless you, Mark. It's still not worn thin, has it? Well, it probably has worn thin, but it's not worn out yet.
What's that?
A bit samey.
Oh.
A bit gamey, samey, yeah.
It's all a bit gamey, bit samey. Well, that's really nice. I'm going to have to consider. I'm looking forward to trying the sausages. We'll do the sausages on Wednesday. But I'll probably cook them either tonight, so they don't hang around too long, because they're still in the fridge.
Angie Fenner says, try rabbit next. Did you know what I was just...
Rabbit?
I was just wondering, as anyone who has eaten venison and rabbit, could you tell me how similar they seem? Because I've got a feeling that this probably tastes similar to rabbit. I don't know.
Far, far more different than I imagined it would be. I was really, really nervous about.
I still can't help but think of Bambi. And yet I'm still putting it in my mouth.
You're putting it in your mouth? We have a call. Let's find out who the caller is. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, is that Joe Suter?
It is.
Hello.
What's happened to Leon?
Leon gave up. He's probably laughing his socks off. Bless him. So there we are. We've eaten it. You said it was amusing. Why amusing?
It's just quite funny watching you both try it and sort of being a bit scared, really.
Yeah. How long have you been eating venison?
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. Ha! Wait a minute. There you are.
It's deadly.
It's you haven't.
She's having it on.
Oh, I see. She's having it on. I was going to have a go.
That was fun. I'm going to do it again.
It's too dear for me. I can't afford it.
Tish.
Don't you get perks at working at Suitors?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So you have had it then?
I've had it, yes.
Yeah. There we go. I thought you must have done, and I thought you can't go selling stuff
Better
you've
say
never.
I had, hadn't I?
Yeah. So, tell me about venison then. How does it come to a butcher? And what's do they? Sorry, Julia's still eating. I've made sure I'm not eating mine at the moment.
Sorry.
When it comes to a butcher's, is it pre-skinned?
This one wasn't, no, but normally they are.
So do you have to hoik the skin off? The fur and all of that.
Skin it. Yes, sometimes.
And does it come with a head, or do you not have the head on?
No, just the neck.
Just the neck, and the rest of the body.
Chopped off.
Yeah.
And it's been gutted as well. So do you want me to carry on like
Yeah.
that?
No,
It's time to eat.
No, that's all right.
No, we're fine. I find it absolutely fascinating because you see the whole thing is that this is what you don't see when you go into a supermarket, and my reaction to it is because I'm not used to seeing it. And so when somebody said eat rabbit, you think, rabbit.
Skin it
It's-
and
and-
chop
I don't
it.
think I can.
But people live like that for it's for generations. Well, since 100 years or even less, 80 years, since we've had supermarkets and things have been suddenly turned into something that we're not used to. And I'm
Covered
just
in plastic.
yeah,
You know, not, yeah.
and I'm just out of that generation that would not have seen rabbit skinned, boiled in a pot and eaten around. And so hence I have that very strange, this is meat that you shouldn't.
Interesting that you say it like that, because True Tales from the Tombstone says, haven't eaten rabbit since I was about 9 after seeing my nan preparing it.
Yeah. See when it's part of your life, it's just part of your life.
Well, it still put her off.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, anyway, the point is, it's interesting that you're describing how this process goes, because people go to the supermarket, they pick up a polystyrene thing,
All done
and it's
for
all
them.
done for them, and you have no idea really whether that's good meat, bad meat. I mean, most people don't even know what rump
What it
is
is,
from.
where it's
yeah.
come from. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But you're going back in time, really, aren't we? Well, you are.
Yeah, but I think it's important to know that, because we are just handing over common knowledge to other people, and and food is one of the most important things. If we don't eat and we don't drink water and we don't have shelter, we will die. And
We are what we eat as well.
and we
you
are
know,
exactly. And I think these things are so crucial, and yet we have sort of exported one of the most important aspects of us to people to do it for us, and we have no idea or any concept of what they're actually doing. At least when we come into your shop, you can see the cuts hanging, and you can talk to them and say, well, I want to do a casserole, and you'll say, what you want is a bit of this from this part of the animal.
Yeah, and we bring out a whole side of a cow or, whichever animal
Mm.
you want, and I'll show you, or we'll show you where it's cut from, how it's cut there in front of you, from almost kind of a carcass really. Some of them, half a side of beef.
Yes, and what you're not doing is walking along an aisle going, oh, that's £3, or there's 2 for 3 on that, or there's
More personal.
no, but I'm saying what I observe and what I would have done in the past is you're just going, oh, there's 2 for £3, that's quite good, and you're just assuming that the meat is all exactly the same quality, but they're just that's a cheaper one, that'll be all right. It might be a bit less quality, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
you
matter.
don't know where it's come from.
You've
you
got
don't
no
know
provenance,
how it's
and you
been brought
whereas
up or
whereas you're bringing it out and you're saying, well, this is this, and the
from
price,
down the road or,
yeah,
yeah.
but the price is not the first thing you're talking about.
No, and it shouldn't be really.
And it
when
shouldn't
it's an
be,
animal,
no.
should it?
No,
'Cause We
absolutely.
should have respect for what we're eating.
Yeah, no,
To a
that
certain level,
that's really what
so-
I'm trying to get at. So
Yeah, I know you think like that, which is good.
yeah, no, thank you very much. So I'm educating myself, and hopefully in the process other people are sort of following along the lines, because older people will know this, because they may have had parents that did all this. I'm sure my mum and dad would have been familiar with this, but growing up, supermarkets was a thing of my generation, and the going into a butcher's became less and less a thing that you did with your parents anymore. So it's fascinating to see that. So going back to the venison, what part of the meat did we have?
So you had a loin of venison.
Right. And what?
So it's
area.
not the fillet like a fillet of beef. Which is it's very dear. The fillet of venison.
You won't see this yet.
Most expensive.
Is the sirloin this sort of area?
Julia's pointing, so you'll get a
I've
delay.
just switched the TV off.
Ah.
It's so distracting seeing time out. So I just switched it off.
So the
Concentrate.
the fillet, did you know? Which is the bit that we
Sirloin.
the
So
sirloin.
you had the loin.
The
just
loin.
the loin of
Oh, right.
venison. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was cubed up. That's best for casseroling. So if we do mixed game, so that would be the loin as well. So you had the loin of venison cubed. Julia can demonstrate where on the body.
Yeah, she just she just did. And yeah, so you would ask, what are you going to do with the meat? I mean,
Absolutely.
unless somebody knew, somebody might say, "Oh, can I have a fillet of steak?" And you say, "Oh, okay, no problem." But if somebody says,
what's he planning to do with it?
yeah, because then you can say,
Definitely.
"Oh, well,
Find
actually,
out.
what's more tender and what works well,
Exactly.
boiling it or frying it or roasting will have different effects." It's a science, isn't it? Really.
It is, and it is. You get really into it. It's a personal service as well. You find out, how many they're having, what they're doing with it, how long they're going to cook it, what they want to achieve, what they're going to add with it. What they want really. It's interesting because everyone's different.
Yeah. No.
It comes in.
Absolutely, and I mean, you were very generous because you gave me the meat, and you didn't charge me for it, so that we would do it on the show, of course. And it's nice to have you here to talk about it. What other parts of what other meals can you do with venison? I mean, is it the same as what you would do with a cow or a pig, or is there special?
It's leaner. So you can have a haunch of venison, and you can have venison steaks from that. So that's kind of like a rolled joint. When you skin the animal, then you've got the whole deer lying there, and then you cut it up into pieces like you would any other. It's just butchering's the same, but there's a lot less fat on it.
Right. And is that because the animal itself is a flighty animal, and that it's not like a cow where it's standing grazing and just chomping all day long? They're on the move a lot, so it's more muscle based.
It is, yeah. It's all that deep red, winey colour.
Yeah, it's a wilder animal, isn't it? It's not been domesticated for hundreds of thousands of years.
So the venison that we had, is that farmed or is it sort of farmed but in a much more free range than you would do cattle?
So that's just free range. It was actually off the brooks, so RSPB Brooks, which is just, the RSPB, don't you, in Pulborough. And you get rangers that are licensed to cull deer.
Oh, I see.
Occasionally, not all of them, but occasionally, that's not all our venison, but occasionally you get one that, has a license and that is a professional in what he does, and you need to cull them. They breed like rabbits. There's too many over there, and I think they're employed. Yeah, they're employed to cull them occasionally when there's too many.
So because they're not farmed in the same way that you would do, say, beef, then you've got no control on what they're eating and what diseases they may carry. I suppose, but at the same time, you're also not putting in medicines and antibiotics and all of that. So there's two sides. I guess there's two sides to it.
Yeah.
But you would know if it was. You would know if the meat side of it was wrong, wouldn't you? You just somehow tell, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely. You'd know as soon as you. Yeah. As soon as you
got a gammy leg or something, you think, well, we'll just get rid of that.
Just use Leon's leg instead.
Usually, well, he's only got one leg to stand on because we had that last week. So that's really fascinating, and the pros is it doesn't have all these antibiotics and all these things that farmers.
No, it's just free range, natural, as it would be, in the old days in the wild, in herds. And if you get too many stags, that they fight, and you end up with they'd be all over the road. They breed so fast, like rabbits.
And is that because there is no predators for them anymore?
Yeah.
Any natural predators?
They get so big, and that's very true.
Because we would have had wolves and other creatures in the park. Bears, I suppose.
Long enough ago.
That's it. Yeah.
But
it would all kind of work its way out. It would all be naturally culled. But there aren't any, and they'd be in the road. In front of cars.
Yes, I mean, I've had a near miss, as I'm sure many people have in down a country road at night, and then a deer suddenly comes out, and you go, oh my God! And fortunately, this one didn't hit me on that occasion. It was a long time ago, and I lived in Petworth. But you see people who's had their cars wrecked, and they've had accidents. People have been killed, haven't they? They hit a deer, gone through the windscreen or whatever.
They have. They're so big, and there is a rule that if you hit a deer, I haven't ever hit one, so I'm lucky there. But if you do ever accidentally hit a deer, you're not allowed to pick it up, because I think there's a law against that.
Otherwise,
for roadkill.
people might aim for them
Yeah.
to be able to take them for the plate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if the car behind can stop and pick it up,
Which is good. Exactly. Yeah. So I always.
You're always travelling twos.
Behind me.
Yeah, that's the secret. What was there was another question floating about in my head that I wanted to ask you, and it has gone. Obviously, it wasn't that important, but just something.
Probably think of it in a minute.
Yeah, it just occurred to me.
You can always ask me.
So let's just have a look and see if there's any comments, Julia.
yes, Glastonbury Gabriel says, what is too many and who decides what too many is? He also says, so why don't we trip over herds of them when we are out in the country? And Linda Cadman says, can we please stop this conversation? Human beings are the biggest vermin on this earth. I don't want to hear about animals being killed. It's horrible. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid, Linda, I mean, you can tune out of the conversation and tune in. I always find it very strange when people watching the show, any show, and this isn't aimed at Linda, so please don't take offence, but if you're watching the BBC and you're listening to the news and they suddenly take you to famine-struck sub-Saharan Africa or something, and you see these kids with bloated, and you say, oh, I don't want to watch that. You don't write to the BBC and say, can you stop reporting on people dying of starvation, please, because I don't want to watch it. You just turn off, don't you? That's what you do. You can't stop conversation. This is... It's my show, but it's interesting, and these are conversations that this is not gratuitously. We're not doing this gratuitously to upset people. I'm genuinely interested because food is something that we need to understand and where it comes from. And who knew? I didn't know for sure that the rangers would go out and cull the deer, and that's the deer that we eat. Here's the question that came back to me. Do you know whether it's roe deer or what's the other? Red deer, roe deer, deer, or which deer?
I do know, but Leon knows which one it was exactly. It's out of two, and Leon knows. That's why I was hoping he'd call in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just wondered when they come in, is there a difference in the texture of the meat from the different species of deer? I mean,
not really. They're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You don't really get a variety of, you wouldn't know really unless you were really.
And another question for you then. With sheep. You know, older sheep mutton is a much more harder stringier, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
Than lamb. And the question I was going to ask is that do you get young? What's a young deer, like a Bambi?
Fawn.
Do they? Are they?
No.
No. So you don't have that sort of veal thing with younger.
No. Not really. No.
Not really.
Not keen on that.
No.
So
but no, it's absolutely. I mean, I find it fascinating. I mean,
Yeah.
The Veg Grower podcast says they reintroduced wolves into Yellowstone National Park, which led to the deer population being managed, which resulted in the rivers changing course. Yeah, that was a massive cascade effect happened within, that one action of reintroducing the wolves.
The wolves.
Yeah, it changed the habits of all the prey animals. They because they used to occupy all the space they could within the park. So they'd demolished and obliterated a lot of the vegetation. But once those wolves were introduced back in, the deer had to, stop going into the valleys because they were, at risk of being attacked from there. Exactly.
Natural control.
Exactly.
So Glastonbury Gabriel did ask us, I think it's a sensible question to ask. It may sound, facetious at the time, but he said, how many is too many?
Yeah.
And that is I think that's a legitimate question to ask.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But too many, presumably, is when it's a nuisance. Now, you may say, well, a nuisance for whom? Well, we've all got to live on this planet, and I agree that man is probably the worst of all the animals in terms of his greed and his gratuitous nature and the way he will kill discriminately and not respect things. And we've got all of that argument, but he is also the dominant predator on the planet, and if there are a lot of these deer running around, as you say, they'll be on the roads, and so causing accidents, causing people to die, families.
If left completely, where none of them are ever culled ever, then that would happen. Yeah.
And it's not like other people can say, well, do you know what? I'll have one as a pet to take them off.
Now there's an idea.
To take them off the streets, because people couldn't really keep a deer as a pet.
Why not?
Well, it's a bit unfair unless you had fields or.
Because what would happen? Wouldn't they just get fat? No, I mean it's a serious. If a deer is not running, because they're very flighty, aren't they?
There is examples of pet deers on YouTube.
Pet deers on YouTube. So
I think to keep one would be, they're herd animals. So to have one on its own would be
cruel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it is a difficult question to ask and to answer.
You have to have a whole herd, I think.
Yes. But I think they're better that they're running free rather than farmed.
I know of at least one very pampered deer that couldn't give a damn about its herd. Yeah, I can't remember the name of this one, but yeah, it was a while ago since I looked at that channel. Not to poo-poo what you just said, but there are always some small exceptions to the rule.
That's interesting.
Stephen Richards says, very interesting conversation. Thanks for discussing this on your channel. Sometimes it is absolutely nonsense and it's just a bit of fun, and, we pull stuff out of the air and you never know.
You have to bring up subjects, like this, that raises controversy, don't you?
Absolutely, definitely. And it elicits debate and it gets people talking, and I think it's good for people to...
reality, isn't it, really?
And face subjects which are sometimes difficult, because we are very cosseted in this world, and this is your everyday world. It's perfect, and it's perfectly legal. It doesn't, just because it's legal doesn't mean to say it's right, morally right, of course, but it is moral. It's morals change with the times, don't they? I mean, hundreds of years ago, this would have been just a way of life, and nobody would have thought any different about people doing what goes on. It's
better to have less of something and more quality rather than mass production and factories, and traditional old-fashioned butcher shops is the way forward if you're interested in animal welfare.
Well, after lockdown, we're hoping to come and do a feature on you and Suitors, the butchers. But it's because it's a dying craft. You don't see many butchers on the high streets. Greengrocers have gone, butchers have gone. And again, it's that whole thing about we're just letting supermarkets who apparently have choice. You go in there and you think, oh yeah, they've got everything I want. But actually, they haven't got necessarily that local piece of venison that was shot recently, or a cow or beef or vegetables that are grown near you, and they're not necessarily supporting the local farmers in your community.
Exactly, you said it.
And because of that, one reason for supporting local farmers or butchers or whatever is that if you go into Suitors the butcher and they give you horse instead of venison, and you say, do you know what, that was horse, it was rancid, I didn't like it, or whatever, word will spread around and your business wouldn't survive, because you're local and people would go, don't go in there, they sell all the wrong sort of stuff. So you have to be good, because locally it's about your pride and how you run your business, and people trust you. Whereas you just don't know what's coming out of a supermarket. I mean, I'm sure they're doing their best, but they're doing it on such a vast scale that how can they give you...
They have to,
how can they give you that quality, not just of service, but also the quality of the meat, and and you trust them, and you can smile at them and have a laugh with them, and they say, well, actually, I wouldn't actually have that today because it's probably won't be good for you.
No, you look into their eyes and...
Yeah, whereas the supermarket's never going to say, no, don't buy that bit of beef for your casserole. have 2 of them instead, because we're thinking about our bottom line. Anyway, on that note, Joe,
Good subject.
it's been
Nice to
lovely to have you on
see
again.
you try it. That's fine.
And
Good.
I'm going to warm it up and finish it off later. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Great. Well, thanks for having me again.
My pleasure. And anybody else, go down to Suitors in Pulborough. You can't miss it. They're on the high street, and go and say hello and get yourself a nice piece of venison, particularly next week when it's Venison Week.
Game week.
Game Week. Oh, I beg your pardon. Game Week. Yeah, Game
That's
Week.
all
There we
right.
are.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank
Great
you.
to hear your voice again,
Great.
Josephine.
We will
And
see you
you,
soon.
Julia.
We're coming in for some
Yes.
pies.
I look forward to seeing you both soon, and everyone listening.
Take care.
Fantastic.
See you.
Bye for now. Bye. There we go. How about that? Fascinating conversation with Joe and about butchers. And you know, where else could you get that on a Monday night?
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of it. We've had some great comments.
Yes.
Any you want to just finish off with, round off the evening?
Hello, Tom. Tim DeShazer.
Hello, Tim. Tim. I didn't call him Tim then. Tim. Hello, Tim. Podcast. I used to work at Suitors many, many years ago, says the Veg Grower podcast, Richard Suggett. Oh, well done.
Yes, I remember you saying that before, actually.
So,
Tattoos and Tea Dragon says, are butchers open during lockdown? Yes, because they are a
Vital.
an essential
selling food.
service.
Absolutely. And it's great at Suitors. You can't go in. You talk through the window.
They're serving from the barn door.
From the barn door. But it's great service, and asked them any questions. Found it really, really interesting. And that meat, you know, it's quality meat. And that's not necessarily Suitors, but other butchers, of course, are available. And it's just the fact that talking to real butchers who do the job, who know where it comes from, can tell you
exactly where it's come. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the quality of the meat is going to give you the minerals and the vitamins that you need. That depending on how the animal's been fed and where it is, and also what is appropriate, as Joe said, for what meal or what you're going to do with it. So, and I'm learning this all the time. All I'm doing is mirroring what I've learned. I'm not an expert by any means. There's so much to learn about it. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Julia, for coming in. It's been an enjoyable and somewhat educational show tonight. Thank you for the videos. They have been superb. To Nigel and to Connor's Dark Corner. To Joe for ringing up. To Sean for adding to it, and Ed for adding to it on the phone calls. And, of course, to you guys out there chatting away. Do give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. That's really important. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Judith, thank you for being out there and monitoring. And
Connor says, great show. Thanks for the shout out, Julia. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And yeah, don't know who these American guys were who rang in but we started their show. Let's hope they've been just as successful as we have. Anyway, that's it for us. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Take care. 1, 2, 3.